Look around South Africa, and you'll see public infrastructure taking shape. From new schools to massive road networks, the government is moving Earth. Bidding on these projects requires meeting specific regulatory criteria before your company can be considered. That gateway is the Construction Industry Development Board, or CIDB. To be eligible for public tenders, your business must be listed on their official register. Getting on that register involves 3 distinct steps. You have to identify your exact class of work, secure your numerical grade, and compile a flawless compliance pack to prove your capability. This process acts as the recognized proof to public sector clients that your business has the financial and technical capacity to deliver the work safely. Before you can put in a bid, the CIDB needs to categorize what technical expertise you bring to the site. They do this through a system called the class of works. When you apply, you must select the specific category that matches the physical work your company has the capacity to execute. This diagram illustrates the primary categories you'll encounter. You'll see codes like GB, which stands for General Building, covering typical structural construction, and CE for Civil Engineering, which covers infrastructure like roads and drainage. Once your class is set, you are placed onto a numerical grading scale. As we see here on the staircase, the CIDB grades contractors from 1 all the way up to 9. Grade 1 sits right at the base. This is the entry-level designation specifically designed for new or smaller micro-enterprises just starting out in the formal sector. As you climb these steps and build your business, your grade increases. Each higher step makes your company eligible to tender for projects with significantly higher financial values and more complex construction risks. Ultimately, the combination of your grade and your class forms your specific CIDB rating. That rating directly dictates the size and scope of the government contracts your business is legally permitted to bid on. Selecting your target grade is a strategic choice, but implementing it requires strict corporate compliance. You need to start by compiling a baseline document pack. This requires your CIPC company registration, a valid registration number on the Central Supplier Database, or CSD, and certified copies of all director IDs. Alongside those, an active tax compliance status is an unforgiving requirement. If your tax affairs are out of order, the application stops immediately. The path for Grade 1 is structured for access. Because it's an entry-level grade, the CIDB bypasses the need for you to submit extensive financial statements or past project track records. By keeping the requirements strictly administrative, the Grade 1 application acts as an accessible starting line for emerging contractors to formally enter the construction economy. However, the moment you decide to target Grade 2 and above, the burden of proof shifts significantly. To qualify for these higher tiers, you have to survive intense financial scrutiny. You will be required to prove your historical turnover using formal, compliant financial statements. You also have to submit technical evidence of your past work. The CIDB requires clear appointment letters and stamped signed completion certificates from your previous clients. They demand this evidence because higher grade work involves massive physical demands and high risks. The state requires proof that you've successfully managed similar challenges before. To help smaller businesses build this required track record, the industry uses a practice called SMME unbundling. As we can see in this architectural breakdown, massive public projects are deliberately fragmented into smaller opportunities. A principal contractor might carve out specific packages, like a section of brickwork, the perimeter wire fencing, or localized landscaping. These packages are sized for Grade 1 or Grade 2 contractors to execute. While the upper grades demand proof of past execution, these targeted subcontracting packages provide the stepping stones you need to build that history and systematically upgrade your CIDB status over time. Even with a solid track record, applications are routinely rejected due to a handful of easily avoidable administrative errors. The most common mistake is applying for a specific class of works when you have no documented experience in that particular field. Another frequent error is overstretching. You cannot claim a Grade 6 registration if your financial history only supports the turnover of a Grade 3 business. The numbers must align. And finally, many contractors submit their files only to let their basic corporate compliance, like their tax clearance status, expire while the application is still being processed. But if you avoid those pitfalls and get your paperwork in order, the reward is the ability to work on the projects that shape the country, like this newly completed public facility. A complete CIDB registration confirms your company's standing on the official register, allowing you to compete for government work